Hi, I'm John Geeta, CTO of Talos eSecurity, and I'm here today to talk to you about blockchain security. So everybody's heard of Bitcoin, but blockchain, one of the most fundamental technologies underpinning Bitcoin, has really exciting possibilities of its own. So while Bitcoin is interesting and exciting, I'm not going to talk to you about that today. We're going to look at some other potential uses for blockchain. One area where people are getting excited to use blockchain is identity. Identity is a very important concept at the basis of any security puzzle, because if you know who you're talking to, where they're coming from, if you know they are who they say they are, then you can trust them more. One big issue that we have with identity technologies today is that if you're claiming on behalf of a human being, for example, they live a long time. Human beings live roughly 100 years these days, whereas computer software lasts maybe 5, 10 if we're lucky. So blockchain, with its replicated storage and its decentralized management, offers some exciting possibilities for storing and providing access to identities, which can then be used in bigger transactions. One of the core philosophies of blockchain is transparency, visibility. So you have this open ledger for all to see what happened. We know that deterrence is a useful way of stopping bad things from happening. If people know that the record of what they do is going to be laid bare, to be checked later, to be verified, they quite often just won't do bad things in the first place. It's not worth it. The risk of getting caught is too high. So in principle, this openness and transparency is a great way of taking out some of the security problems and some requirements for technology from blockchain-based systems. But just bear in mind that not everything should be laid open for everybody to see. The details of a transaction may be private between the people who did it for very good reasons. And so getting the balance of openness and transparency with other very reasonable expectations of privacy and secrecy is a tricky one. Another core technology associated with blockchain are so-called smart contracts. Smart contracts are little pieces of code that can execute automatically without any interference from external systems. You basically set them up and you say that if something happens in the future, then this other thing should happen as a consequence. So for example, if I sell something at a certain price, the money should automatically move and I don't need to get in the way of that. Or in terms of insurance, if an event happens which triggers my insurance, I automatically get paid. These are very simple examples. And the problem with these examples being simple is that as soon as you get more complicated, a lot of non-technical philosophical questions come in. What if the code was written wrong in the first place and I want to change the effects? What if circumstances change and the contract's no longer valid? How do I turn it off? It's a very interesting question to design a technology whose purpose is to run automatically with no intervention and no revocation, but then also to consider what might happen in the future if you need to turn it off or change it. Clearly the security implications of this are very important and have to be considered quite carefully. Blockchain as a standalone technology, distinct from Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, offers quite a lot of interesting possibilities for new models of trust online. Lots of us right now are experimenting with different ways of using blockchain to conduct business among ourselves in a new, modern, connected, online kind of way. We have to remember there will always be lawyers in the piece, and blockchain is a technology like any other. It doesn't set the rules, but it can really help us implement the rules and build the modern world the way we want to build it. Nobody really knows where blockchain technology is going to end up. As an industry, we're experimenting right now with exactly where we can take it. And we're having all of the usual arguments about full openness on one hand and private, permissioned, even sometimes editable chains on the other hand. Very different things for very different purposes. What we do know though is that cryptography is going to be very important to this regardless. Compared with modern systems and traditional systems and PKIs, some of the problems move around. Some people become more or less important, some technologies become more or less trusted. But access and identity and integrity, all of these traditional concepts of keeping things safe and keeping information trustworthy remain absolutely as relevant in the blockchain case as they have done in the history of information security. Visit our website to see how Thales eSecurity data security solutions can help you with your blockchain strategy, no matter where you're taking it.